Good morning, everyone. We've still got about a minute before the webinar starts, so I'm going to give people just a few more minutes to join.
Yeah, and I've tried to
ask that if you could please mute your microphones, that would be great.
They didn't respond until yesterday, so I'm like, well, I was through, so I anyway. Sorry. You can come get it, I guess, if you want. That's right, they can come get it if you want. Yeah. How many keys? Full of babies. They have been here. Yeah, today's the first day they haven't attended. Jen Raskin and work. You've been bringing them to work? Yes. Work. That was every day.
All right, we are right at 10 o'clock. Thank you everyone for attending. I am going to start sharing my screen. So give me just a second to do that. All right, hopefully everybody can see my screen. So just let me know if you can't. But we are going to go ahead and get started. Okay. So I want to thank you all for being here today. This is the 2020-2021 YEC Series webinar. So first, I'm just going to get started with a couple housekeeping items and a little overview of what we will cover. So first of all, for housekeeping, I definitely welcome questions, but would ask that you hold those until the end. So if you do think of a question and you don't want to forget it, just feel free to put that in the chat box. And then at the end, after I cover everything, I'll check that and make sure we get all questions answered. So what we're going to cover today is just a brief intro to YEC for anybody that may happen to be new to the program. We're going to go over guidelines for this year. So what are the rules for the events? We'll discuss briefly VentureDash, and then also we will go over our virtual event guide. So go to the next slide. All right, so for anybody that doesn't know me, my name is Amara Kaneep, and I am the manager of e-community programs for Network Kansas. So my job is to oversee all board certified programs, which includes YEC. And if you've ever done an Ice House or Growing Rural Business class, you probably worked with me on that as well. So my contact information is on that slide there, and feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm a resource available to you in addition to your coach. So definitely your regional manager is a great source of information, and we want you to keep them in the loop on everything, all of your plans. But if you have any questions about programs, I'm always here if you want to just reach out and get that answered. So why youth entrepreneurship? The goal of the YEC series is to provide students with hands-on entrepreneurship experience. And well, we want students to see this as a viable career option. We also want them to develop that entrepreneurial mindset and feel more connected to their community. So this is something that's really, really important to us here at Network Kansas, and we know it is to you all as well. So we thank you for being partners in this program. We know that the exposure to the entrepreneurial mindset makes a huge difference to the students, not just for them and their individual lives, but also for the future of our state as well. So the YEC series has been going since the 2013-2014 academic year, started out in Northwest Kansas, and you can kind of see the chart there that shows how exponential our growth has been over the life of this program. So in the first year, we just had the 5 local competitions, and we had 48 participants total. And that year just culminated in a regional championship for Northwest Kansas. And in the second year, we were able to expand also into the southeast corner of the state. And the third year, we finally were able to take the program statewide. So we've been growing quite a bit over the years. The last year, we wrapped up 2019-2020, And we had 44 competitions and 793 kids participate across Kansas. And so that was even during the pandemic, which means that unfortunately some people did have to cancel their competitions. So given the limits and the situation, we still consider having almost 800 kids participate a huge success. Our state championship has evolved quite a bit over the years. There was one year where Network Kansas hosted our own, but for the most part, we've been partnering with K-State to send kids to the Kansas Entrepreneurship Challenge. And so K-State has been an incredible adaptive partner. That partnership is also supported by the Kansas Masons, who provide a huge financial support to that program. K-State has continued to tweak the format of the state championship each year to help the students get the most out of the event. So last year, unfortunately, didn't get to happen, but what their plans were was to do mock boardrooms at the state, which is where students submit their executive summary ahead of time, and then they get questions a few days before the event that the judges will ask them in a mock boardroom. And so they were going to do a couple different rounds of mock boardrooms so that students got exposure to more judges and got to have more mentorship from them. So we are really excited about that. And that's plan A for the competition this year, which we'll get into a little bit more in a minute. And last but not least, part of the growth of YEC has been the VentureDash development. You know, we started out with our proprietary portal, which was developed around 2018. And so that was a good resource for competition planners, but we did outgrow that. And over the last year, we've spent over $100,000 developing VentureDash, which is an even better, bigger, better, all the way around, more improved tool for competition planners. So we'll get a little bit more into that as well. I know what you guys are probably really interested in is covering these guidelines. So we're going to go ahead and go through those. And I'll talk a little bit about the state championship as well. I will preface this by saying that overall, there were no major changes to the guidelines from last year. The rules are pretty much the same, but we'll kind of go through each of those. And if you have a question about that, you can either put it in the chat, or if it's something that we need to discuss further, you can always reach out to me individually too. So at the very top of our guidelines, we've got our important dates. So sanction applications are due to Network Kansas by November 13th. And you do have to complete that sanction application in VentureDash. And if you're holding your event before November 13th, you need to complete the application before your event. So I will show you in a few minutes how and where to do the sanction form in VentureDash. Local competitions needs to be held by March 19th. So that's pretty much the same every year. Around the end of March is when we have our cutoff for local competitions. Right now for the state championship, our dates are slated as March 26th, when executive summaries will be due to K-State. April 5th is when finalists will be announced. And April 27th is the KEC state championship. And as you can see, those have some asterisks by them, which unfortunately means that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the dates could possibly change. So basically how K-State has set that up, and Eric and I have had tons of calls with them about this. So a lot of thought went into this, and basically K-State has presented a plan A and a plan B. So the plan A is what you see right there on the slide, is to have everything proceed as normal, and hopefully the pandemic's over by then and we can all just get back to normal life. And so we would just proceed like we have exactly in the past. Their plan B potentially could be for KEC to take place over multiple days, maybe with a day for each division and a day for finalists. And that would only be if social distancing was necessary, or if there were still rules and limits on how many people could assemble at one time. So we'll know more as we get closer. We'll keep you up to date as soon as we know anything. If Plan B did go into effect, it could be possible that those dates earlier in April. So there may be a shorter turnaround time between events and the state championship. But like I said, we'll keep you posted as soon as we know anything. This year is, very different than it has been in the past with the situation that we're all in. So Network Kansas is very committed to being flexible and to helping you to the best of our ability. So with that, go ahead and go through the rules. So these are largely the same as last year. I'm just going to run through them real quick. The physical location of the competition has to be in Kansas, and the students must reside in Kansas. The competition needs to be open to at least one grade between 9 through 12. So at least high school grade has to be open to, but you can also include middle school. The competition needs to include the executive summary and the presentation. So again, that is exactly how we had it last year. But you can also choose to do optional components if you want to add in a trade show or an elevator pitch or something unique of your choosing. The competition needs to have at least one judging spot for an active member of Kansas Masons. And that is because, again, of the large financial support that the Masons offer. They're very passionate about youth entrepreneurship, and they provide over $75,000 each year to K-State to give out as prize money. The competition should also follow the marketing guide listed on VentureDash. So basically what that means is there's a little section on VentureDash that just advises you on how we request that you do your marketing materials. And there's not a lot of requirements. The only thing that we ask is that when you design your flyer or other promotional materials, whatever those may look like, we do ask that you include the logos of Network Kansas, K-State, and the Masons. And those logos are all available to download in VentureDash. Prizes are not mandatory, but if you do decide to offer cash prizes, there are some limits.
I just sent you an email.
Prize amounts. So
I don't know, and she is recording it, so.
Somebody needs to mute their.
If you don't have your microphone muted, please make sure that you have muted.
You're getting a lot of background feed.
Thank you. All right. The competition, again, has to be sanctioned by the deadline of November 13th, or before that if your competition is earlier in the year. The competition has to take place in the allotted time frame, so August 1st through March 19th. And of course, when it comes to the sanction fee, we still have the $1,500 sanction fee for those who are not part of the e-community partnership. But e-communities, as a benefit of the partnership, have that fee waived. A student can only compete in one local event per series, and the student can only submit one business concept per event. And then communities may only organize and participate in one local event unless there's compelling reasons otherwise. So again, it's kind of the same for all of these rules. If you have something that you have a question about, or you think there's a compelling reason for an exception, just reach out to me privately. All right, so the next thing we're going to cover is VentureDash. And I'm not going to get into a full demo today. We did have a webinar in July that did the full demo, and that was recorded. So if you would like a copy of that recording, please let me know and I can email that to you. But what I'm going to do today is just talk about some of the benefits and then, sorry, let me stop sharing my screen for a second. I just got a note that some people are still in the waiting room apparently. Okay. Taking me a second to figure out how to stop screen share. I apologize. Okay, okay. For those of you who are just joining, I apologize for that. It did not notify me that there were still people in the waiting room, so I'm very sorry about that. We have just finished going through, we just did an overview and kind of the history of YEC and just finished going through some of the guidelines. So you didn't really miss much. Most of the guidelines are the same from last year, so there were not really any major changes. But if you have questions, please put those in the chat box. And then after I'm done going through everything, I'll look in the chat box and make sure that all questions are addressed. So again, my apologies about that. What we were about to discuss was VentureDash. So I was saying that we're not going to do a full demo today. There was a demo in July that was recorded, and it was a full demo of everything in the platform. So if you missed that, please get with me and we can send you that recording directly. Really the main thing I wanted to cover today is some of the highlights that you need to see in VentureDash, the resource library, and then how to do the sanction application. So again, with VentureDash, some of the biggest benefits are this full scoring system, the interactive resource library and help center. We've got a planning timeline in there to help you go through all of the steps to execute a competition from start to finish. And you can, just like with the portal, gather your executive summaries and have contact information all in one place. So you will need to do the sanction application in VentureDash by November 13th. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again just so I can show you where that's at. Okay. Can everybody see my VentureDash tab? Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so when you go to VentureDash, you're just gonna go to goventuredash.com. And what you can do is there's a tab right here at the top that says competitions. So you'll wanna click on that. And you can see all of the competitions that are slated to take place on the platform currently. You'll need to come over here to where it says series and click on that. And that shows you all of the series of competitions that are taking place. So it would be possible for somebody else to organize, well, you know, maybe in a different state, somebody else organizes their own series. Right now, YEC is the only series that we have going, so it should be the only one that you see. And you'll want to click this arrow right here. That will take you to the landing page of YEC. So you can see, you can download our guidelines, you can see all of the info, the start and end date. End date here, you need to host your competition by the 19th of March. And what you'll notice is this blue button on the right that says apply to host a competition. You'll click that, and this will take you directly to the sanction form. So this is the only way to do the sanction application. We did have a couple other people in the beginning that just logged into the main site and registered an event, and that does not tie you to the series. So you'll need to go through this pathway. And if you get confused or if you have any questions on that, you can send me an email and I can send you the direct link. I believe a lot of you on this webinar also got a direct invitation to fill out the sanction application. But if you need that sent again, you can let me know and I can do that. So the form is relatively straightforward. I'm not going to fill it out because it's very simple. It's pretty much exactly like what you've done in the past. Another thing I want to show you real quick is the Help Center, just so that you're aware of that. So if I come over to this next tab, you can see our Help Center, which you can access by, again, if you're on VentureDash, you can go to the main page. And if you scroll down to the bottom, there's a button that says Help Center right here. So you'll just click on that, and this is where it will take you. So we have 3 sections here. There's VentureDash tutorials, and that's more for technical things about how to use the site. There's competition best practices, which is very general for any competition, not related to YEC, so you probably won't need that. And then what you will probably be using a lot is this YEC Series resources. So please make note of that tab. And this YEC Series resource tab is private to YEC users, so you have to be tied to the series in order to see that section. That's kind of an exclusive benefit of being part of YEC. So if you just went to the main page of the website, you likely wouldn't see that, but it will be available after you complete your sanction form. So if you have technical questions about how to use this site, this tutorials button is best for you. And if you have questions about where to get a template or download an example or some other resource, you'll want to come in here. And I'm also going to click into the YEC section just so you can kind of see what it looks like. These are the same sections and resources that you had in the portal. So it's pretty much the same type of information, and of course it looks a little different, but it's pretty easy to get used to. I will show you real quick the marketing guide, since that was mentioned in the guidelines, and for some people who joined late, basically there's a rule in the guidelines, and it's been there every year, that you need to follow our marketing guide in the resource library. And so that's just ask you to use our logos on your promotional materials, the Network Kansas, K-State, and Mason's logo. So that is right here under best practices. If you click into marketing, you can see our marketing guide right here. And if you actually scroll to the bottom, we've got a lot of documents here and resources for you for marketing purposes, but you'll see the marketing guide is at the top, and then we've got our logos listed here as well. So if you want to download something, you just click on it and it starts an automatic download for you. Not sure if you could see that on my screen because it popped it up in a different tab. Anyways, okay. So I'm going to stop sharing on that part and go back to my PowerPoint. All right, okay. So that's VentureDash, and again, the full demo of that site was recorded in July, but if you need that link, just reach out to me and let me know. Okay, so another thing that we have developed for you guys this year is a virtual event guide. This is also available in VentureDash, and I believe a lot of your regional managers sent this out to you via email as well. So with the current pandemic, and with schools looking different everywhere, and it varies a lot from county to county, we recognize that a lot of your events may have to be virtual this year due to social distancing and whatnot, especially as we get into the fall and winter months. So of course we support that. We want to help you in whatever way that you need assistance. And we want the program to go on even with the pandemic. So we've developed the guide, and I can send that out to anybody who needs it as well. Basically, we believe that it's very simple to convert your event to virtual, especially using VentureDash. So I'm going to go over just a few highlights of things that you might consider doing if you need to go virtual. So the event can still be successful and still meet our requirements on 100% virtually. And a lot of the planning aspects aren't really going to change. And this may even simplify some things, as you won't have to worry about like venue or food or whatnot. So there are a few positives. I think a lot of the questions we had got before was how to convert elements, some of the key elements of the event, to virtual. So if you're having a student give a presentation, such as a 4-minute presentation or an elevator pitch, or perhaps even the trade show, you can either have them pre-record that and collect those videos in VentureDash, or you could possibly even entertain the idea of them presenting live over Zoom. So I'm sure a lot of you remember that we did the Kansas Youth Virtual Entrepreneurship Challenge in May. That was a program that we partnered with Camp Destination Innovation. So that competition was 100% virtual. It was hosted on VentureDash, and that's how we conducted that. Was the students pre-recorded their videos, and they uploaded them into VentureDash. The way that VentureDash is set up, you cannot upload videos directly in there because they take up so much storage space, but you can collect the links to the videos. So what we would recommend is that you remind students to make sure that their videos are public, because that was one of the problems that we kind of encountered was some students would submit videos like on Google Drive or Dropbox where they had their link set to private, and then the judges could not view. So if you do have the students do a video link, please remind them just to make sure that that link is public. We did also have some issues with students using school email addresses that they may not be able to receive outside communications. So that's up to you to consider whether or not that's a problem for you. But if it would be, you might ask students to use a backup email address. You can use your VentureDash landing page and your social media accounts to promote your event. And if you want to do a live presentation of prizes, you could organize a Zoom meeting or a Facebook Live to announce those in real time. And if you still wanted to do your guest speaker for the students, you could also do that over Zoom as well. So that virtual event guide, again, is in the resource library that I just showed you. So you should be able to download that in there. A quick word about the state championship. For those who are late joiners on the call, we did talk a little bit about this. Plan A is to have the state championship on April 27th. And that's assuming that we can conduct business as normal. And, you know, pandemic's over, everything's back to normal, that would be great. We do have a plan B, which KEC might have to be broken up over multiple days if social distancing is required and if there's still limits on gathering sizes. So we don't know exactly what that plan B would look like. It might have to take place earlier in April, but that's something that K-State will keep us posted on, and we'll keep you guys in the loop as soon as we know anything. So the KEC dates are subject to change potentially, but we hope that that won't be the case. So the KEC organizers are Dr. Chad Jackson and Arlena Elliott. Their email addresses are listed there on the slide. They are the authority on KEC. So Network Kansas supports and sends students to the KEC state championship, but K-State is the organizer and the authority on that event. We've got the same format planned as last year. So with our plan A, the plan is to have the students submit executive summaries and then to do mock boardrooms. So that would be where they get their questions ahead of time, and then they go to a group of judges who ask them questions. There would be multiple mock boardroom rounds, so it would be more interactive and the students would be able to have more mentorship from the judges. So we were really excited about that last year. Sad that it didn't get to happen, but we're very hopeful for this year. Again, there is that possible change due to the pandemic, but I know we all hope that won't be the case. We'll be keeping you posted as soon as we know anything on that front. All right, so I want to thank you guys today for your time. I'm gonna stop my screen share and see if there are any questions for me. Again, we recognize that none of this would happen without you, especially our teacher champions. So we give a huge thank you to you as well. Okay, I don't see any questions in chat. Okay. Yep, no questions in chat. If you have a question, feel free to put that in there or unmute yourself. Otherwise, my contact information was at the beginning. For anybody who missed it, you can reach out to me at akniep, which is AKNIEP at networkkansas.com. I'm happy to help anytime. I see a comment from Deb. Thank you, Deb. We appreciate that comment. I'm always happy to help. Your regional manager is happy to help as well. So if there's anything we can do, if you have any questions, you need a link on VentureDash, or you just want to brainstorm for how to do your virtual event, feel free to reach out to us. Oh, I see Deb asked, have you or will you share the slides? Yes, this webinar was being recorded, and so the link will be shared to the recording as well. And if anybody needs that link to the VentureDash webinar, feel free to let me know and I can send that out to you also. Otherwise, I don't have any questions. Don't see any other questions in the chat, so I just want to thank you all for tuning in today. Apologies for the technical mishap at the beginning, but you guys are welcome to reach out to me with anything. So thank you and hope you have a great day. Bye.